Have you ever felt like your brain is a browser with, I don't know, 100 tabs open, and there's music playing from somewhere, and you just absolutely cannot figure out which tab it's coming from? It's just that relentless, rapid-fire racing of thoughts, bouncing endlessly between what happened yesterday and what might happen tomorrow. It's a dizzying, chaotic, and just totally exhausting way to live. But what if there was a singular, highly effective mechanism to silence that noise entirely? Okay, let's dive into this explainer where we're going to unpack a really brilliant psychological framework that's actually disguised as a simple story.
Our focus begins with a 24-year-old guy named Marco. Now, see if you can spot yourself in his specific mental dynamic. Marco is deeply, deeply restless. His mind is, well, it's basically a storm. He's constantly bombarded by thoughts that make him feel uneasy and just fundamentally exhausted all the time. And the dual engines driving his anxiety? It's a lingering sadness about his past and a really heavy, relentless worry about his future. Because of this endless mental tug-of-war, he's lost the ability to sleep peacefully, and sadly, he has literally forgotten how to smile.
Section 1. The Storm of Overthinking.
We're going to treat Marco's situation as a case study today, because frankly, while Marco is a character in a story, his problem is just incredibly universally recognizable for almost anyone trying to navigate today's super fast-paced, hyper-stimulated world. Notice his primary symptoms: a constant stream of uneasy thoughts, heavy worry, and an absolute inability to sleep or just feel calm. Marco is completely mentally drained. So let me ask you directly, does this constant, tiring mental storm sound familiar to your own daily battles with distraction and stress? I mean, if you've ever laid awake at 2 a.m. analyzing a random conversation from 3 years ago or stressing out about a meeting next week, you are experiencing the exact same stormy mind that's paralyzing Marco.
Section 2. Seeking the Wise Old Man.
So Marco reaches a breaking point. Desperate for a solution, he hears a rumor about someone who actually knows how to cure this exact mental ailment. Driven by a newfound hope, he commits to a long, grueling, and physically tiring journey to find a remote, quiet village, just seeking a way out of his own head. But let's actually slow things down for a second. This wise old man Marco is seeking, he isn't some magical wizard casting spells. He is actually a former famous clinical psychologist from the city. And that grounds our entire case study in practical, actionable mental health. This is a professional who spent his whole life helping people in the busy city find peace, before finally retiring to a quiet village close to nature to offer advice to those willing to make the journey.
After days and days of traveling, Marco finally reaches the hills. He finds this small, unassuming house covered with lush greenery, and sitting quietly on the porch, with his eyes closed, is the old man, radiating the exact peacefulness Marco so desperately wants. Marco walks up to him softly and makes his plea. He says, "Grandfather, my mind is very restless. I cannot stop thinking. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?"
Section 3. The Water Glass Challenge.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how the old man responds. He slowly opens his eyes, gives a calm smile, and says, "So you are looking for peace? Then come with me. I will give you a small task." Notice he doesn't sit Marco down on a couch for a multi-hour lecture on cognitive behavioral therapy. Instead, he sets up a highly specific, interactive physical experiment. Taking Marco into his yard, the old man outlines a really high-stakes challenge. Step 1. He fills a glass with water, completely to the top. And I mean to the absolute brim. The glass is so painfully full that even the tiniest shake, just a millimeter of imbalance, is going to make the water spill. Step 2. Walk from here to the edge of the village and then come back. And Step 3, the absolute rule. Do not spill a single drop. Marco is pretty surprised, but he's determined, so he accepts the challenge and grips the glass.
But here is where the variables of the experiment really come into play. Consider the sensory reality of the village Marco has to navigate. The road is narrow and it's highly congested. You've got people walking and running past him. Shopkeepers are aggressively calling out to their customers. Children are playing chaotically right on the side of the road, and dogs are barking incredibly loudly. The absolute, silent, delicate focus required to hold that full glass of water is in direct opposition to the loud, messy, unpredictable environment surrounding him.
But Marco commits to it. He walks incredibly slowly. He steps so carefully, placing one foot right in front of the other. His eyes stay rigidly locked onto the glass. The villagers actually look at him in surprise as he carefully shuffles past them, but they can see he's engaged in some serious lesson, so they don't intervene. Marco ignores the onlookers. He ignores the noises, the surprises. He is purely 100% focused on the physical task at hand. And amazingly, against all odds, he manages to walk to the edge of the village and all the way back without spilling a single drop.
Section 4. The Secret of the Present.
Let's move ahead and see how this all builds. Marco returns to the yard triumphant. He announces, "Grandfather, I did it. I didn't spill even one drop of water." The old man nods, definitely delighted by Marco's success, but the physical task was only part one of the experiment. He smiles and asks a crucial follow-up question. "That's good, but tell me, did you see the children playing on the side of the road? Did you hear the dogs barking?" Marco looks completely taken aback. He replies, "No, I didn't see or hear anything. I was only focusing on the glass." The old man smiles again. And he reveals the secret.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core psychological mechanism at the heart of our explainer today. Let's compare these two mental states. On side A, we have the past and the future. This is where fear, confusion, and all those extra exhausting thoughts live. But on side B, the present moment. By forcing his brain to focus entirely on the water in the glass, the absolute immediate present moment, Marco left zero processing bandwidth in his brain for anything else. When your mind is fully occupied by the immediate now, there is literally no mental space left to be sad about yesterday or afraid of tomorrow.
Slowly, the profound realization washes over Marco. The peace he had traveled for days and days to find wasn't a magic word. It wasn't a potion. Peace is not something we find outside. Peace is already inside us, simply waiting to be unlocked when we anchor our minds to the present moment. The old man gently explains that this capability was always inside Marco, right from the start. He just didn't know how to access it. To silence the storm, you just have to return to the now. Consider the timeline of this incredible transformation. In the morning, a restless, deeply anxious young man arrives at the green-covered house. By the afternoon, he possesses a completely focused mind, successfully ignoring all the chaotic distractions of a really busy village. And by sunset, as the last light touches the ground and the birds fly back to their nests, Marco starts his long walk back home. But he's no longer the restless youth. He is deeply, truly peaceful on the inside, having finally learned the practical mechanics of how to quiet his own mind.
So the crucial point is this: Marco's journey isn't just a quaint little story. It's a mirror for our own daily mental habits. If peace is already inside you, if it's really just a matter of anchoring your attention to the water glass right in front of you, what is keeping your mind from the present moment? What past regrets or future anxieties are spilling your glass today? Next time you feel the storm rising, remember the old man's experiment. Pick a point of focus in the present and just watch the noise fade away. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I seriously challenge you to try the water glass focus test yourself today.